Welcome to Steelers Today. He's Dale Lolley. I'm Dejan Kovacevic. We're both from DK Pittsburgh Sports. We're obviously at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. And we've been here before, meaning this outcome. What was the score even? Oh, there it is. Chiefs 36, Steelers 10.
Yeah, and, the Steelers, it's become...
This is three of these.
The same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
The last three road games, in fact.
Yep.
Now, the outcomes, the scores haven't been quite as lopsided all the time.
Yeah.
At times they have, but at times they haven't.
It's just Minneapolis still feels like it was one of those.
Yeah, right.
Despite the comeback,
And so you look at this, you go, okay, well, what now? Is the season over? And, well, they have 2 games left, and one of them is at home. It's this next one coming up here against the Browns. This is the thing about this situation right now. The AFC North is kind of blah.
Yeah, it is, but the Bengals are in a pretty good spot, Dale.
They are.
They didn't.
Guess who they get to play next week?
Oh,
these guys.
These guys.
You think they're gonna? You think the Bengals
are not beating
the
this
Bengals
team,
are not beating the Chiefs? It's not going to happen. And then, you look at it and you say, okay, well, the Steelers have played like garbage on the road, and they have.
Yeah.
Well, next week's game's at home against the Browns.
Who they beat on the road. Which actually was probably their last good road game.
Yeah.
Now, as I think about it, I can look at these standings, Dale, and I see that they're now 10th in the AFC. They opened this game 7th. A lot of people might not realize that for the briefest moment they were in that last playoff spot. But they've now got mathematically a 15% chance of making the playoffs. A lot of things have to happen. Is the route more realistic through the division than it is through the conference?
With the Chargers losing today, with the Ravens losing today, I don't know what to think about this. I don't know if any of these teams want to make the play. I'm sure they all want to, but are they capable?
Well,
I just don't know based on how everybody's played. Yes, the Chiefs are a good football team. We knew that coming in here. None of us picked the Steelers to win this football game. I think they're a good football team. I think the Colts are a good football team in the AFC.
Colts are getting stronger.
Beyond that, I don't know.
Yeah, here's my thing is I look at these standings. This is the whole 10th place, 15% thing. And I still think to myself, like, who cares? Other than the narrative component to Ben Roethlisberger getting the Steelers into the playoffs and having that whatever, there's nothing here. This team that we just watched out there is not going anywhere. If they get into the playoffs, they're as done as you get.
And I've heard that argument, and here's why it's horse crap.
Okay.
You've got a young football team. They've started now. They went into this game having started rookies 54 times this season. It's the most in the league.
All of them on offense.
All of them on offense. The reason you want to get into the playoffs is to get playoff experience. And so you can't discount that. I've covered this team for a long time. And, that team in 1992, Bill Cowher's first year, they get into the playoffs. They get some playoff experience. They got their butts kicked by the Buffalo Bills.
No, you see that across sports. There's a value to it.
You have to figure out, okay, this is what this is all. You can talk about being in the postseason. And you can say, well, this is what it's like. But until these guys experience
that's fair. I just, when you're talking about this team and this season, Dale, and I'm guilty of this, I attach it to Ben. Okay?
Well, there's no doubt.
Because this is Ben's last season. I don't think anybody's arguing that at this point. And, for him to be, look, he wasn't great in this game either. You asked him about the interception, whether the wind took it or whatever else here, and he had a chance to say, oh, yeah, 30-mile-an-hour gusts, because we saw those flags back here.
And we walked in through it.
Well, no, and it was a plausible thing that the ball would have, we saw it, play havoc with some kicks and so forth, and he didn't. He was just like, whatever. He
made a bad throw.
He made a bad throw to a really short wide receiver and whatever, but Ray.
But you'd like to, because as this team has shown over the course of this season, if you win the division, you get a home game.
Yeah.
And if they're at home, okay, maybe it would be against the Colts or maybe it would be against one of those teams. but they just beat the Titans. Now, I understand
that's all.
They've beaten some good teams at home.
Yeah, there's probably one team in the AFC that you could look at and say they're starting to at least become head and shoulders above everybody, and that's this one.
Yeah.
That's this one. That's not us saying this because we saw them beat the Steelers or whatever. It's because they've won 8 in a row, and they've done it principally
and Mahomes,
through defense.
And Mahomes is good.
And
Mahomes
you
got a great quarterback.
Doing some really good things, and of course they did this without Travis Kelce. This is a team that's way up there. Anybody else in these playoffs, I don't think there are upsets.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's as wide open a field as I can remember. These guys are probably going to get the bye. That first week of the playoffs, anybody could win.
Yeah.
So that's why you want to get in. Again, if you get in and win a playoff game, is it worth it? Sure. Look at Cleveland got into the playoffs last year and won. They beat the Steelers, and it was like they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Again, young football team trying to build something. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to keep that culture going.
Here's the problem, Dale. These people pressed play so they could hear us really cut up this performance. So we're going to do that right after this break. Welcome back to Steelers Today. As promised, the Steelers lost. I have to keep looking back at the score.
36-10.
It says 36-10. It felt like it was like 50-0.
Well, when you're trying to catch up kicking field goals, that's the way that goes.
Well, yeah, this guy's sitting there through the whole game measuring how many field goals the Steelers would have to kick to get back into the game, just so you know.
Because that's what apparently the offense has become because, once again, as we said recently, and again, where's the imagination on offense? Where is there anything that you've seen that is just, wow, that was a really well-designed play?
Flea flicker to Ray. Yeah, I mean, look.
Ray McCloud, why is he even part of this offense? I don't get it.
I don't know. I asked the head coach.
Does Matt Canada have him in his fantasy league? I don't know.
I asked the head coach, and I got a one-sentence response that was, it's because 18 and 11 are being taken out. That's not what my eyeballs are telling me, especially when it comes to Deontay Johnson. I don't see anybody double teaming him.
They're leaning his way a lot.
They lean.
The safety's over top of him.
But the same routes that are being used for Ray to be targeted on are available for Deontay to be targeted on, you know? And Claypool's getting more attention once he goes deep. But that's not what this offense is built on anyway.
I don't know what this offense is built on.
I don't know either.
That's the problem.
4th and 1 pitch, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, let's run the pitch to the outside with a running back who, quite frankly, as good as he is
not that
that's
guy.
Not his. That's not his forte.
He's not.
By the way, you can't do it when you have one guy out there leading.
Chuks Okorafor versus 5 red jerseys was the way that thing played out.
Now, to Chuks' credit, he did block 2 guys.
Chuks did get a couple of them.
3 got through. I mean, it's just...
At least they picked the right side to run the insanely stupid 4th and 1 pitch on. Najee, to his credit, by the way, when the 4th and 1 pitch was brought up in the interviews after the game, just said, I'm not answering that question.
Take from that what you will.
Take from that what you will. Yeah. The offense has... It's not just that it has no personality. It has, you talk about imagination, but it doesn't even have an identity. It doesn't have a foundation. It doesn't have anything.
The identity is that it doesn't have one. And that, you're 15 games into this season, and you still don't have an offensive identity. You still don't know what you are.
This is one thing that I really can't stand about fan discussions when it comes to the Steelers is everyone feels the need to focus on one thing, or they think when you mention one thing, like one of us mentions one thing, that we're doing that. I can say that Matt Canada should be fired and still think that the offensive line stinks, still think that that other guys are underperforming out there, still think that Ben should be close to retirement and things like that. And it's all in the same ugly stew, Dale,
It is one ugly stew, particularly when they played on the road. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Whether you like it or not, it affects the defense. The defense, now they didn't play well in the first half, but the offense does nothing in the first half of games to help them out.
No,
there are no
they have
sustained
nothing
drives.
left. Yeah.
They're nothing. They're when your offense is going out there, and you turn the football over, or you go 3 and out. You're not giving your defense a chance. Not against that offense.
No, they're on the field for too many snaps. And at the same time, though, like you said, the defense did not exactly distinguish itself here. The Chiefs.
But it's Patrick Mahomes.
It is, but it's Patrick Mahomes without Kelsey. So they had one less thing they had to worry about in terms of, look, if they're facing Kelsey, they have to do some special things.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to do that. So what you really need to do, and they did this at least a little bit at the beginning, is make sure that the other team can't run. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire initially didn't have, a whole lot of room.
They were okay stopping the run.
They did okay stopping the run. And then, you just start the Mahomes thing, where he just starts boom, boom, booming you right down the field.
You're better off allowing them to run for 5 yards a pop. And
then you are.
And then he doesn't throw the ball.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of a two-edged sword playing a team like this, playing a great quarterback who's kind of turned his season around. He started slowly this year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
A lot of them did.
Yeah.
Kelsey did, if you can believe that.
And they're kind of clicking on all cylinders right now. And great quarterbacks elevate the guys around them, and Mahomes did that today.
This, incidentally, I know this is not Chiefs today, so I'm going to keep the Kansas City commentary to a minimum, but that team has no business not going to the Super Bowl out of this conference. I really believe that.
I'll tell you what, the Colts are a
You
scary
like the
team.
Colts,
I like the
I know
Colts.
you do.
They can run the football. Jonathan Taylor
can run on anybody. There's not a team that can stop Jonathan Taylor. The Colts also have another guy in their backfield that I don't know why anybody would believe in him.
That being the quarterback.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm not sending Carson Wentz to the Super Bowl.
I get it.
Carson Wentz didn't go to the Super Bowl when he went to the Super Bowl. Nick Foles carried him there.
We'll see what Derrick Henry had coming back. What happens when that, if they get hit, if the Titans get him healthy, because they came in here and beat this team earlier this season. That's why you play the games. That's why you want to get into the playoffs. To go back to our initial conversation, because you don't know what can happen. There are upsets all the time. You start a game and your center snaps the ball over the quarterback's head. Things happen.
Things do happen.
So
they're not getting in.
You take your chance.
They're not getting in. The math is so daunting.
I don't think it is. They play 2 teams that they've already beaten.
Yes.
Win those 2 games. You need some help.
You need help.
But you should want
you
to
need the
win.
Chargers to lose again?
I'm not even talking about that. You need the Bengals to lose their last 2. They play the Chiefs, and then they play the Browns in Cleveland.
This is not inconceivable.
The Browns already beat them badly in Cincinnati.
Not inconceivable.
So,
and the Browns have motive no matter what.
Right.
Like, they have motive to pull out something near the end, even if they're eliminated.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
And they're not going to lay down to the Bengals.
No,
because then they could finish last. The Ravens could still finish last in this division. That's why the Browns won't lay down. They don't want to finish last.
Okay.
So
okay.
I think there's still a lot to be played, a lot that can happen here.
The Chargers got. They didn't lose. They got pasted.
They got smoked
by Houston. On merit, by the way. I watched some of that game. They got pasted.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and keep your hopes up then, or do whatever it is that you want to do. But
or don't.
That says over there 36-10. And that's not an accurate picture of the gulf between these two franchises right now. And the Chiefs are, exactly what the Steelers used to be in a lot of ways. Appreciate you watching. Have a good holiday and stay safe and all that other stuff.